And we're live.
Finally.
Yeah. Oh man. So this has been a whole process, but I'm super excited.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited too. I'm a little bit tired, but it's finally live. So we got it. We made it.
Hey, honestly, Emmanuel, how has this been going for you? What is it that's you're most excited about for this thing?
Well, everything in general. I mean, you need to be more specific with the question, but all I can say is, yeah, I mean, I'm happy that we finally have it live. It took us what? How many months? Without counting
Oh,
the.
too many. We were gonna launch this in March, and then COVID hit, and we had to put it on delay. But screw it, we're gonna do it. And
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in general, it's been like work time. 3 months? So which is cool.
yeah, total work time. Yeah, 3 or 4 months. Because
Yeah, yeah.
I did a lot of research. You did a lot of drawing. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean that's the best part. I'm excited about the whole thing. There's no specific part of the project that I'm more excited for, but the whole thing, whole project. Look at that! I really love the cover.
Oh man, I love your new cover. Yeah, because
Yeah,
we
it's not
talked about.
even finished.
Well, yeah, it's unfinished, but it's still a work in progress. But the design of it is just cool. It makes me think of Queen first off, but just like
Yeah,
we got our four heroes in there. Hey,
yeah. I was thinking. Well, tell me.
well, I was just gonna say, just a recap for people that aren't like super familiar, because we're just starting this out and just kind of announcing it. We wanted to tell the story of the founding of Mexico because there are a lot of comics out there, really good ones. Don't get me wrong, really good comics out there about Aztecs, Mayans. And by the way, we use the word Aztec, but we know they call themselves Mexica. But most of the comics that I've seen are retellings of the end and the fall of the empire. And I really wanted to show like the rise, like how they became to be this powerhouse that they were.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. There's not many information about that. Oh, I mean, there's information in books. Like there's no information on media, like TV shows. Because then again, we have TV shows about the Conquista, and then we had comics about La Conquista. We have books about La Conquista. We have video games, but never that we have nothing about the creation of Tenochtitlan.
And also, anybody checking this out, just a background on us. I have been a writer for research. Blah, blah, blah. I've been a researcher and writer for Marvel Comics for about 10 years, where I worked with the official handbook of the Marvel Universe team. These guys are amazing. And Emmanuel has done some really just groundbreaking books that have just blown me away. The Codex alone, I don't think enough people are aware of what this is and just how amazing this is, that you made an actual Aztec style codex.
Yeah, I know it was a pain on the butt, but it was fun.
How long did this take, by the way?
How long?
Yeah.
Oh, about 10 months to finish it. Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, like I'm sure now I can do it way faster. It will probably take me about 5 months. Like back in the day, it took me quite a while.
Well, the other thing I want to do is introduce our characters. We have our main heroes, our warriors.
Yeah,
I've been referring to them. Yeah, I've been referring to them as Eagle Knights, but like our main character Tayo is an Eagle Knight, and these are all like everybody who is named in the story is somebody from history. Now I took their names and I took like shortened versions of their names in the Teoatl to make it like a little bit easier to pick up for people that are trying to read it. But they are based on real people that were alive in the Valley of Mexico in 1325. So it's like these are the people that actually helped make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing you did was to change the names a little bit because some of them were kind of similar, right?
Yeah, well, sometimes we had to change it if the names look too similar to the layperson. And then also for a lot of these characters, we don't have a lot of detail for their lives. Like some of them we know how they were born or who they married or how they died. But some of them we just know there was an important warrior who lived here and he did things. What did he do? That's all it says,
Yeah. So which of them is your favorite, Kevin?
I don't know. They're so different. We got Tayo, who's just he's just a brick house, and that's the first thing you told me is you want to have that like massive, like powerful hero like you see in Sin City or 300 or something.
Or Conan.
Yeah, Conan the Barbarian, and then Teoatl, the second one behind him. I keep referring to him as the old man, but he's not that much older. He's like 5-10 years older, but it's just that he's the experienced one. He's the teacher.
I would say 10. I like him as 10 years older, but he's my favorite one. I mean, he's a very interesting character.
Probably the most fun is Tenki, the guy right behind him, who's got that conical hat that a lot of the Aztecs wore when they fought. And he is just one guy that just does not give a crap about anything.
Yeah, I know.
So he believes in his friends and he will do as they need, but he's going to complain about it the entire time. And you got to love a guy like that.
Yeah. And the last one?
Nochli, we got our little dude, and he is, he's the up and comer. I keep calling him a squire. Somebody asked me why we would call the Aztec knights knights. And they're like, oh, isn't that a European term? It's like, yes, but that's also the term that's used by historians, by folklorists, by people who are talking about tradition history. I don't think people have referred to what Nochli's job is as a squire other than me, but he's a squire. He's basically the one who carries the knight's equipment. He assists the knight. He's a knight in training. If he gets to succeed in capturing somebody, he's a knight as well. So like it makes sense to call him a knight. Yeah.
No, I get you. I mean, at the beginning I had a little problem with that. I didn't want to call them knights. But I guess at the end, he's a warrior, an eagle warrior knight. And
well, you know what's funny is I was calling him a knight, and I was calling the king a king, and I say it out loud. But in the actual comic, we haven't used the word knight once, and I don't think we don't use the word king. We call him the speaker, which is how Tlatoani translates, right?
yes.
So even though I'm referring to them by the terms that they are used in, by historians, I'm using translations of like what they're actually called.
Yeah, no, I get you. I mean, this is for people that are not familiar.
Well, I mean, honestly, how many people is that? Even if you have, because this is a like there are modern day Nahua people today, but the people who ran the cities, that has gone through generations and generations of Spaniard oppression and all that kind of stuff that went through. Of course, we have our other main characters, the princesses, and I love this image. She
doesn't want to be there, man. She doesn't want to be there.
Well, it's not that she doesn't want to be there. It's that it's like she's looking at him like, really, you of all people. So it's like, So it's not like she's like held against her will. It's more like just, oh God. And it's funny because like when you told me you wanted to draw this, the only instruction I said was, well, make sure she looks like she's just annoyed at him. And like everything else is all you on this picture. That was the only thing I asked, and I'm like, you perfectly captured that. Like
you got it. You got what you wanted.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I put this picture up a second ago, and like this is one that you had when we first talked about this. You were like, no, this is my idea. This is what I want to do. And this was just like an early sketch idea. We didn't have any characters yet. We didn't have anything planned out, but it was like, yeah, let's do it. And
I forgot about that one. It's funny.
This is the one that sold me. This is the one I was showing other people, and I was like, "Hey, look! This artist talked to me about wanting to do a project, and he wants to do this." I'm like, "What's the kind of art?" And I showed him this. Like, yes, this could work. This could work. And I know originally we talked about maybe doing it in black and white, but I think adding color to it does add a lot more depth.
Yeah, and then again, but I mean, I was trying to keep it like with the old school looking, and someone told you that it still looked like it was made in the 70s.
Yeah, somebody said it had that feel of like 1970s comics, but it also has a little bit of that feel of even the aged codices. So honestly, I'm guessing that's what you were going for, because it had the double feel of that, both of those things, of like a classic adventure comic book and also this ancient story.
Yeah.
And then, of course, designing the characters. Tanque's a big guy. So Hector Gonzalez Rodriguez, creator of El Peso Hero, is asking, what are your artistic influences? He says he looks like some John Buscema there.
Who? What artist?
He was a big artist in the 70s for Avengers and stuff.
Oh, okay. No, I'll go more for Miller. Who else? I mean, he's my number one. And like, well, a little bit of Tuck, like you can tell right there, like I have some Tuck McFarlane. And who I like a lot? I mean, they don't draw comics, but I'm very into Chuck Jones and Tex Avery.
I could see that.
Yeah. I don't portray that in the comic a lot. But like when I draw for myself, like it's all like 60s cartoons.
I don't know if you're familiar with him, but there's an artist from the 60s that you should look into, because I think you might like his work too. Alex Toth.
Okay.
So he's the guy that created like Space Ghost and like all those Hanna-Barbera cartoons with like the adventure ones. But he has this style where it's also this kind of exaggerated hero style. So it's like so you think of like Frank Miller as being like that real dirty and like damaged, and his is be like the clean and heroic version.
Did he ever work on I can remember the name of this cartoon, but it was also like part of the Space Ghost, and all these, I think in Mexico it was called Los Gorgonautas, the Gorgonauts, maybe here.
Did it have a large stony gorilla and some little blobby guys?
Yes.
Yes, he did. That's the Herculoids.
Yeah, okay, nice.
Yeah. As soon as you said the name, I'm like, that's the Herculoids. It's got to be the Herculoids. Yeah.
So did he work on that?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I like those a lot.
And then for my part, I just kept burying myself in research, because when we first talked about it, you were like, I said, let's do Mayans. You said, no, Aztecs are cooler. I'm like, all right, fine. So then I suggested the story, and you said, yeah, that one works. I said, all right, let me research it. And then I started researching every text I could find that tells this story that was written down prior to the year 1700. Because like, I honestly, the modern ones are going to be probably more accurate. But I wanted to get the older ones because I wanted that idea of this oral tradition and this legend and make it over the top. So I read, I think, 5 different versions of the story, and they don't all match. But like, I was trying really hard to get stuff like where everything was, and like trying to decide, okay, where are they going in this part of the story? Where are they in that part of the story? Who is there? There's still one city that actually the main city that, depending on which map you're looking at, it's in 2 entirely different places. And that's the main Aztec city, which is Tizapan. But man, the problem with all that research is that it kept getting bigger, and the story kept getting bigger and bigger. Because I think we originally said, let's try to do one chapter, one story, and then as it grew and grew and grew, and I think right now we're talking about it would be an epic when we finish it. Yeah. And I asked you, I said, do you want to try to make a shorter version? We'll have to cut out a lot of the stuff we talked about. And you're like, no, let's do the big one. Yeah. So yeah, this is chapter 1. We need your help. If we can get chapter 1 going, we can push for the rest of the book and get the whole graphic novel put together. But this is chapter 1. Yeah, one of our viewers says it's a rabbit hole of research. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Once you fall down that hole.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that you getting more and more into it, that means you're doing a great job.
Yeah. Oh, and also for people that are curious on that research, both of us are doing a ton of research. Like, I've been looking into the history of the characters, and Emmanuel's been telling me stuff that I wasn't aware of when it comes to things about like the lifestyle. Like you mentioned, how the priests would be caked on with mud and stuff because it was what was you say it was unpure to clean themselves or something like that, and they just had to keep getting like darker and darker.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you like the last 10 seconds.
Basically, when the design of the priest that we had in one of the pictures, you came up with that, and you were telling me that was historically based and culturally based.
Yeah, I mean, because they're dirty, they don't take showers, so.
Well, anyway. But for them it was a religious thing. Like they were part of.
I know. I'm not saying they were dirty because they were dirty in their heads, but like dirty because that was part of their ritual.
And that's super important for me, by the way, the fact that we are presenting all of these people as people. I think it's very easy when you're doing historical things to either completely modernize them or to completely make them fictional. And we are making the story fictional. We are building off history and making it a fictionalized version of it.
Yeah,
but I want the characters to feel like people. You know, the fact that all these were real people that lived, I think that's a pretty cool idea that we could see them like from our modern eyes and still be able to understand. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, the Kickstarter, we just launched today. We've been a little bit worried about it because we had some technical glitches this week that were going on. But I got really excited when I...
Yeah.
Huh?
No, he's working just fine now.
Yeah. I got really excited when I saw us pass $616, which for Marvel fans is a very important number. But now we're almost to 800. We're like just a few dollars away from 800.
Oh, really? That was fast.
Yeah. It just happened right now, actually.
Nice. I want to check, but I'm talking to you. But that's cool. And let's hope we'll get 50% by tomorrow night. That will be awesome. So anyone who's watching the video, if you have a few bucks spare, just go on Kickstarter. You're gonna love the comic. You have one of the greatest writers in front of you. Me. Oh, I'm sorry, Kevin.
Yeah, and then you have one of the greatest artists, myself, providing the script.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't gonna say it myself.
Yeah, and honestly, if you believe in independent creators, if you believe in independent artists, if you believe in Latino, creators, Texas creators, please help us out. This is a first for both Emmanuel and myself. Emmanuel, you've done books before. You've been doing a webtoon on the webtoon app. I've worked for Marvel for about 10 years, but this is the first time either of us have done a full, panel to panel comic book.
Exactly.
And it's also, our first time kickstarting a comic book. So please get the
Yeah.
word out. Share
Like
it.
pretty much, you're gonna make our dreams come true. That's what I always wanted. Since I was little, actually, I always wanted to draw comics or work for Warner Brothers. Don't ask me why, but that's what I wanted when I was like 6 years old.
All right. So you hear that, HBO? If you want to pick us up and make an animated version, Emmanuel says he wants to help you out with that. So he's good. All right. So I guess that's that. But you said you wanted to, in a minute, or in a little bit, have a live talk in Spanish on your channel.
That'd be great. Yeah,
all right. So we're gonna have it on your channel and on your Facebook. How can people find you on Facebook and on YouTube so they can check it out too?
Emmanuel Valtierra, illustrator, just like that.
All right. Well, thank you guys. If you want to join us in Spanish, I speak Spanish like Tarzan speaks English, so Emmanuel is going to translate for me, and come check it out. Thanks.